Skeletor, how good to see you.
You've been awfully quiet today, Evil-lynn. I thought I'd see what you were up to.
Hey YouTube land, Tech Hunters here, doing another action figure review, and today we're delving back into the world of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, and this is another cartoon collection, or otherwise known as the Filmation style characters, and this is Evil-lynn. As you can't really see from the packaging, because this is the way it was shipped to me. I got this from Smith's here in Ireland. They are available in stores now, but when they first came out, and because Masters of the Universe is so kind of hit and miss over here, I decided to order it online because that was the only way to get it first. It was available online, not in stores, and then they drifted into stores. I'm not sure if they're still available at the time of this recording in stores, but this is how she came packaged. They crushed her into a bubble packaging, or into a bubble mailer, and instead of putting her in some sort of box or container, they crushed the card backwards in the box. And even on top of that, you can see there's a big line or a slash down where the back of it, where this is probably opened from a carton. So it's just a good thing that I'm not a mint in box collector, or otherwise I would be super ticked. So on the back of the box, it gives a showcase of other figures that are not completely in this wave, but some are. So Web Store is the only other figure in this wave. So this wave has been broken down into 4 figures. Evil-lynn being one, Webster being the other, and then the other 2 are a reissue of Orko, the original Origins version. I don't think there's been any change to it. It looks exactly the same as the standard Origins Orko, so I didn't pick that up. And then the other figure is a new character, well, a new / old character called Reptilax, who is basically he's another one of the Snake Men, but he's kind of an early concept drawing, he's another one of those early concept drawing characters that never made it in the vintage line. And I think he was, well, I believe he was an early concept character that was never made in the vintage line, and then they decided to make him and introduce him for Origins. So on the back of the box, the artwork on the back is quite nice. It's from a specific episode. I can't remember the name of the episode, but she has the Staff of Change, and it's the episode where Beastman pretends to be King Randor. Basically, King Randor is kidnapped by Evil-lyn and Beastman. They use the Staff of Change to turn Beastman into King Randor, and it's some sort of plot to overthrow the throne, I believe. I can't remember the ins and outs of it, but Orko is the one that spots the change, and I think he gets captured as well, but manages to alert Adam, who again turns into He-Man and saves the day, that kind of thing. But you can see on the back of the packaging, unlike with its US counterpart, the US one, or well, this is the international, technically is European, I'm not sure if it's just called international, but on these ones you have just the name of the character, whereas in the US version you have named the character, a small bio for the character, like, you know, evil spider creature, evil sorceress of power, that kind of thing. You can see there's 2 other characters here on the bottom. These are for a later wave. Hopefully I think they might be in the next wave, which is the Clawful figure based on his Filmation appearance. So it's not the one with the big giant crab claw. It's actually the one where he actually has 2 regular sized claws and he has a more cartoon head. And then Spikor, which is again the cartoon version of Spikor. He has a little less spikes on the body, but predominantly he is pretty much the same as his action figure counterpart. I think the head is a little bit more cartoon-esque as well. But other than that, you have the other 2 figures. I'm not sure which Origins figures are going to be in that wave, but on the top it says includes mini comic on the packaging, which we will get to in a minute. Well, actually, we'll get to now as I have it here. This is the European version of the comic, or the international version of the comic. Main difference being Again, you have those same figures on the back. Now, this is the one that came packed with Webster, the one that came back with Evil-lyn. It's the exact same comic that you get overall. The only difference is, if I flip through, you can see there is not a single speech bubble anywhere, and you have to guess what's going on. It's fairly kind of self-explanatory in this one. Skeletor finds the Staff of Change, uses it to change Webster into some cat-like creature. He steals this jade statue of a cat, which is the accessory that he comes with. Or is it he steals it or gets turned into it? I'm not sure. And he tries to steal it, or they try to steal it. It becomes alive. He-Man comes to rescue the whole thing. He gets hit by some cosmic or some spell. Battle Cat gets turned into a tiny kitten. I think is it Teela? Looks like Teela, Orko, and Man-at-Arms get turned into different creatures by using the Staff of Change. He-Man manages to get it and turns Skeletor into a butterfly, changes everyone else back. Orko changes the big creature back into a statue, and everyone else is saved. And oh, Evil-lyn, looks like Evil-lyn also gets turned into a frog creature. So yeah, it is different to the cartoon, but it does utilize that Staff of Change, which is the accessory along with her kind of standard accessory that she comes with. So there is the Staff of Change. It is done in a kind of standard, just a yellow plastic. There's nothing super about it, but it is the Staff of Change. I do believe Skeletor, which one was it? It was one of the Masterverse Skeletors came with a version of this as well. I think it was the Revelations one actually came with a similar staff. She also comes with her actual wand, scepter, whatever you want to call it. It is a different sculpt to the previous released version. So this is the one that came with the first Origins version of Evil-lyn. So this is more based on her action figure counterpart, which we will get into in a minute. But she does come with that as well, which is her kind of standard one. She can hold it in either hand. She does have grip hands. Now, this is the first of the female figures I've gotten in this line, in the sense of there's currently only two, which is Evil-lyn here, who has a really awesome head sculpt. I can't fault the head sculpt on this. It is fantastic. The other figure being Teela. Teela also supposedly has an amazing head sculpt compared to her action figure toys releases. It's one of the best Teela head sculpts, as this is one of the best Evil-lyn head sculpts. So there's been two other versions of Evil-lyn that I'm aware of in this line, of which I have. There technically, if you want to be pedantic about it, there is 4 previous releases, because they released the first two. They re-released the first 2 ones with better knee joints, so they had a better looking knee down here, but the ones I have are the ones with the original knee joint, so we'll show that in a minute. But before I do that, I do want to note there is a running change on this figure. Now, it only drew my attention because I popped into a buddy of mine. I picked up some Turtles of Grayskull figures off him recently, and he also had this version of Evil-lyn, and I was curious about the armor on it. I was like, oh, can you pop the armor off it, because it looks like a separate piece? And we did. But here's the rub, or here's the thing. So I did this with my one not too long ago, within like today, and I noticed something interesting. So this version of Evil-lyn, you won't be able to see it in the packaging. At least I don't believe you can see it in the packaging. She has a purple painted waist, or purple painted tube top, whatever you want to call it, on her body. As you can see, she can come apart just like the other figures and be mixed and matched with parts. My buddy's version of it, and I'm going to try and see if I can put the picture that he sent me in here somewhere, hopefully in this, somewhere in the area up on the screen somewhere for you to see. Her chest, it's the same color, so it's not a Teela body, because it is the same color, orangey, yellowy kind of skin tone. Teela's skin tone is completely different. Teela's skin tone is more like this kind of peachy color skin tone. The one that he has, and he got his from, I believe he got his from the States. I'm not sure if he got his one from Big Bad Toy Store in the States. He possibly could, because I know he does order from them. His one, this entire tube part section, or tube top part section, is white, which is the same way they did it on Tila, where if you remove the Tila armor, underneath the chest area is actually a white paint application. So that is something, if you're a completist and you want to get another version of her, or a variant, but it is, as I said, it is hard to see when she has this armor on which version she has. In fact, if I do the headpiece on first. Now, that brings me to another thing, a minor gripe that people had with this figure, or maybe it's a major gripe, I'm not sure which. In the cartoon, and even on the comic book art book comic cover here, you can see Evil-lyn has a cloak. I believe she had a cloak in the cartoon. There is a sort of way of doing it, but it doesn't work that good. So some people were saying, is this, I can't remember which character this is from the Masters of the WWE. It's not Lita anyway. It's one of the other ones. And she comes with a cloak accessory piece, which is this. They were saying, could you take that cloak and use it on Evil-lyn? In theory, you can, because it does fit on the neck joint and the head will fit on with it. The problem being, this won't fit over the neck properly once you have that on. So the only way I could see doing it is getting this accessory, cutting the front piece off and gluing this on to the back of this somehow. Like maybe cutting it from there, gluing it on underneath this so it doesn't get in the way, because I'll show you what I mean in a minute once I get her assembled. So the only way you can do is put this on first, and then if you put this on over it, and then you have to stretch the body, which is, or the bodice, which is something I'm a bit more concerned about. It doesn't fit flush, as you can see. It's hard to get on the right, and I'm more worried about it overstretching this, and then the head doesn't fit right then once you have it on. So she's constantly looking through her neck. So there is a way to do it, but it means modifying a piece of a somewhat harder to get figure. So unless someone comes up with a way of maybe making a cast of this and then just having it as this piece without the ring, the neck ring part, and then having it so that you glue it onto this, because that's the only way you'd be able to attach it to it, would be glue it. You could have that cloak as a piece, but it requires some modification on the part of the person putting it together, or whichever way you want to put it. So I will say that I'm a little bit worried of overstretching her body piece, putting it on and off as well, because there could be some stretch. There's actually kind of stress mark here on this corner from me pulling it on and off, so it is something to watch out for. But as I said, when this is on, you would be very hard to tell which painted body piece is actually underneath this. Like, even in the packaging, you would not be able to tell which one it is. So for articulation, she does have all the articulation as the standard Masters Universe. Arms can move up that much, can rotate all the way around, but because of the way the hinges, you have to kind of splay out the arm to the side a bit. Single jointed elbow, with wrist swivel with a hinge, ball jointed head, as you saw the way the head was attached. There is a waist, as you can see the waist was attached. She does have splits. You can do the splits quite nicely, can kick forward. She has a single jointed knee. She has a swivel on the boot. She has the rocker ankles. She has the peg holes. She has all the fun articulation of the other figures. Now, I will say, getting her to stand isn't too bad, but she can be she's a little light, so she can kind of flop forward. The hinges on mine aren't super loose, but they aren't exactly super tight either. This is her holding the staff from the other variant version of her original Origins counterpart, which is the 2000X inspired version. So I'm going to bring those two in so you can see height and scale. I do believe she stands a little taller than her previous iterations. So if I bring her in, and I'll bring in my tape measure. Boom. So if I bring it up to the back, you can see she stands just around 5.5. The others, I think, are around 5.5, but I think where it differs is where the heads kind of meet the top of the head crest piece, slightly differ. So they look a little taller. It could be just the way I'm looking down at them. She could look exactly the same height as the rest. And then just because I have her next to me, this is the bone staff that came with one of the other wrestlers, the WWE wrestlers. And I think was it Becky Lynch? No, I don't think it was the Becky Lynch one. I know there was a couple of them. I can't remember the names of them off the top of my head now. But she does look kind of cool with that. And then I'll just bring in that WWE Legends of the WWE, what was it? Masters of the WWE stuff. So you can see she has a similar motif with the purples going on, but she's designed more to be like She-Ra than Evil-lyn. There was one that had a Evil-lyn look, which I can't find at the moment. She had a cool skull mask, but that's the one with the kind of cloak. As I said, it is a solid piece cloak. You could potentially use it, but it requires a lot of modification on the part of the person doing it. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this quick video review, or hopefully it's a quick video review. I will probably splodge in some bits, try and edit in some interesting bits and pieces of footage from the cartoon animation so you can see how she looked and stuff like that, and hopefully my editing skills will make this a bit more appealing to you. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this quick video review of the Evil-lyn Filmation style cartoon collection figure by Mattel. This is just starting to hit store shelves over here in Ireland. I'm not sure about in the States. I think she's been out a while now in the States. For some reason, we're getting the releases very slowly. They're trickling out at a very slow pace over here. In fact, some of the European stores, like the German stores, actually have, I think, waves beyond this one. So it is what it is, but we can only hope and pray that they do expand back into the Masters of the Universe collection again, because it is hard enough to get them over here. So there you go, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this review, and as always, please feel free to like, comment and subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.